Hey guys, this is Comic Uno's Best Comics of the Week, and we go least favorite to best pick of the week. And this week I had 10 comics to review, so kind of an average haul for these days in comics. So let's get started. Number 10 for me is Willow issue 3. Haven't been able to get into this series. I do like Willow as a character. I like Mariko Tamaki as a writer, but I just feel like this series has been really slow, not much of a direction. And same for this issue, where we get to see Willow getting used to this town of witches, and she learns, I guess, more to the fact that there's witches in this town, and she's obviously connected to them. She's a powerful witch. So not a lot of new information here, and I don't really quite care about any of the supporting characters yet to really grab us into the storyline. Artwork's kind of average, kind of plain for this one, so I think I'm going to be dropping Willow after this. I do still have Buffy, I still have Angel, but I haven't been loving this miniseries. So giving Willow 2.5 stars, and that is number 10. Moving on to number 9, which is Fantastic Four Fallout Empyre. I know what you're saying. I didn't read Empyre, so why am I reading the Aftermath books? So I also have the Avengers book. The reason I read Fantastic Four is because I am still reading Fantastic Four, so I wanted to see if there's any information I needed to know in this book, which there is a cliffhanger that I did need to know to read the Fantastic Four book. And then Avengers, the reason I got that was because I am a fan of Wiccan and hulking, so I wanted to see their weddings. That was the reason I bought that one. But let's get into Fantastic Four. This one actually felt like was a little bit more event-driven. Maybe they both were, but this one dropped a lot more information, in my opinion. I believe this is the one where we get to see the Watcher comes back in some way. Yeah, so we get to see the Watcher again. Both do tease events for the future. I don't think it gives enough information for us to really speculate what's going to happen, but they're like, hey, there's going to be more cosmic goodness. Of course we know that. Marvel always has some cosmic stuff going on. The big thing for the Fantastic Four is that the kids that they've been trying to help, the Skrull and the Creek children, that are now part of the Fantastic Four, and the Thing and Alisha take them in as their own kids. I thought it was a really cute moment. Other than that, there's a lot of exposition in this issue. Small, nice character moments between, like, Johnny and SpiderMan, and, what I just mentioned with Alisha and the Thing. But overall, I don't know if I would say you need a rush to get this one shot. Even if you're a Fantastic Four fan, again, the only information you really need to know is that the Thing and Alisha have 2 children now, and I'm sure they're going to reference that in the next book and how that all happens. So I don't think this is a necessary pickup. Artwork, though, is very good for this book, though. For both one-shots, I think they're very clean, not rushed at all, consistent, which is always important with these books, especially event books that are, wrapping up very quickly and have tight deadlines. So I really like the artwork in general. So giving this one 2.5 stars, and that is number 9. And speaking of Avengers Empyre, the next one is Avengers Empyre Aftermath. So this goes with the A and A, the other one goes with the F and F. So Fallout and Aftermath. And this one I enjoyed a little bit more just because I felt like it had a bit more of a continuous storyline because you have hulking and Wiccan's wedding. There's a lot of good character beats there between the Young Avengers and just, the Marvel Universe coming together. Once again, was it the most important comic to get? I don't think so. Even from the wedding standpoint, it wasn't all about the wedding. It's more of them just saying, hey, we got married. We don't actually get to see, the wedding itself. That's only for, a panel. But, obviously love seeing the wedding and love seeing these 2 characters get married and seeing more of their relationship. And, like I said, I'm a big Wiccan and hulking fan. So in that regard, I think this one's more picking up than the other one. But at the same time, Marvel plot-wise, there's some tidbits here and there in the end about, what decisions Hulking's going to make. Does he turn to the dark side once again? We get a little bit of his family drama, but I don't know if they're really going to pick that up anywhere else. It kind of reminded me of in Marvel issue 1000, we had that, I don't know the character's name, something Rider, I feel. There was this mysterious character that there was all hype around it, and we still haven't seen him from what I know, so it's just we get these cliffhangers, you don't know if anyone's really going to pick it up. but the cliffhangers exist, and I guess we'll see what the next event will be. I think the next one's the Phoenix Force, so maybe it'll be connected to that. But overall, giving this one 2.5 stars. Some good character beats, but once again, kind of a pricey book. I don't know if you have to rush out to get this one shot. Moving on to number, I think 6 already, or is this 7? Yeah, we're moving on to number 7, which is Wonder Woman issue 762. This one's kind of slow, honestly. Not a lot happens until the end. So you get the last page from last issue, which was Liar Liar's reveal, and that, you know, she's trying to get her dad upset, but we didn't know who her dad was. Now we know her dad is very much confirmed to be Maxwell Lord. So, you know, I think if you put the dots together, you kind of already knew it was Maxwell Lord, so that wasn't so much of a reveal. The other stuff was just more mind control, things we've already seen with characters that we don't know. So I couldn't really get invested in that. Artwork is not as strong as Mikkel Jannin's artwork, so that's a little, puts it down a little bit for me. But overall, giving this one 2.5 stars. I feel like this was probably the weaker issue of the bunch. Hopefully we get some momentum now with Liar Liar and Maxwell Lord coming face to face though. So giving that 2.5 stars, and that is number 7. Moving on to number 6, right? I think we're up to number 6. Let's see. Yes, number 6 is The Magnificent Miss Marvel issue 14. This book is taking a very long time to come out again. A big Miss Marvel fan, so I've missed this book on my pull list. I haven't loved this volume, though, so in that regard, you know, I'm hoping with Outlaw things get a little tighter. The writing for this one, I felt like it was a little two-dimensional. There was a lot of obvious dialogue throughout this issue, especially with just seeing Kamala go one by one with all her friends. I think there could have been a stronger way to do that, in a more emotional way to do that. But overall, the idea of the issue was interesting, where we get to see Miss Marvel fight for her life and then go out and try to prove the world wrong. That, you know, they're painting her as this victim, and she's part of the champions. So how is everyone going to feel? Zoe was a little upset, maybe even a little out of character, and saying, "Oh, you know, those damn champions." But I guess she was just upset that her friend was hurt. And it was interesting to see everyone's different points of view, and just seeing everyone that Kamala cares about surround her was cool. But overall, it was a 3-star book for me. It was okay. I do think there's ways to make this a little stronger emotionally, but it did its job, and we'll see where Miss Marvel goes, and Outlaw in general, because there's obviously been a very extended event because of the hiatus, and this was one of the things that definitely got pushed to the side. So giving that 3 stars, and that is number 6. Moving on to number 5. Which is The Amazing Spider-Man issue 48. We finally get some progression in this book. I feel like I've been saying a lot of things were slow, but this one had some momentum, where we get to see the rest of the Spider Gang try to convince Peter, I guess what it seems like, try to convince Peter to kill Green Goblin. Don't know why, and do they have information that we don't? And then also Peter just trying to make the decision of, all right, what do I do with Green Goblin? He's always a pain and a thorn in my ass. And he just he decides the thing he always decides and says, all right, Norman, I'm going to help you out. And I don't want you to die. And then the rest of the Spider team's like, well, we're going to have to fix that. We're going to have to show Peter what could happen. So again, they might know the future a little bit more than Peter, especially because the next issue is the celebrating issue 850. So hopefully it's a big issue and we get some kindred goodness in this one too. But I will say one thing about Nick Spencer's writing is that there's a lot of explaining of things we already know. Now, in one stance, if you're a new reader and don't know anything about these characters, it's great. That means they know who Gwen Stacy is. They know who Miles Morales is. They know, maybe some lesser known characters like Julia Carpenter. But as, people who've read Spider-Man for a very long time already know these characters, it gets a little repetitive and you're like, okay, I already know who Julia Carpenter is. I don't need the whole explanation for 2 pages of who Julia is. And that got a little tiresome throughout the issue because it happened about 5 times because they introduced a lot of characters here or reintroduce characters, but I do think Nick Spencer did a pretty good job of making it more emotionally driven with Miles losing his Peter from the Ultimate Universe. Gwen analyzing her own death of the other Gwen and how she felt about that, and how everyone paints her as the perfect victim, and in that regard she feels like she's, the Gwen Stacy name has to be perfect, but no perfect human being exists. I thought that was pretty interesting. So overall, I give this 3 stars. I do think it's going in a better direction. Still don't really like Sin Eater, but at least we're getting to the Norman Osborn storyline that we've been wanting to see, and hopefully that also means we're going to be seeing more Kindred. So giving that one 3 stars, and that is number 5. Moving on to number 4, which is Join the Future, issue 5. I believe this is the last issue. Hopefully it's the last issue to a volume, because I feel like there's so much more story to tell after this. I feel like we only scratched the surface of what Join the Future is about. But with this issue, we get to see our main character, Clem, I think her name is, and she's taken over her town. She's like, you killed my brother, you killed my father, I'm going to kill you, and prove that new technology is not as good as old technology. And she kills all these people with her gun, and it seems like she's going to go off to that city and cause some havoc and maybe do exactly what these people did to her city or to her town, but we will only know if we get another volume of this. But overall, I thought this was a pretty solid read. I enjoyed it. I always enjoy the small indies like this, and yeah, Join the Future, I give that 3.5 stars, and that is number 4. Moving on to number 3, which is, another book I love, and that is The Red Mother, issue 8. Right, issue 8. This one definitely brings some momentum as well. There's some slower parts, and that's something I actually like about the Red Mother, is that it kind of lives in the moment, and we really get to see how Daisy's living her life after her trauma. And the Red Mother is very much following in this issue, more than I would say others, so her life seems to be going well. She has a more serious relationship with this guy she met. We get to see work is going well with her. She's unlocking these puzzle pieces. But there's definitely some strange things around. One of her friends is 100% working for the Red Mother. We know that. And we don't really know what her motives are. She has a piece of this puzzle. Like, why is Daisy even working here? What is this company really? And then in the end, which was super interesting, that character, her friend, who is, again, working for the Red Mother, calls Daisy, say, hey, I think I figured something out. And Daisy's like, okay, I'm gonna go. And she leaves her boyfriend, and the boyfriend gets attacked by Red Mother. So is this just gonna be history repeating itself? How is Red Mother connected to Daisy? The cliffhanger definitely pulls you right back in. Artwork's really good for this too. I love just the slower moments of this book, and how it builds tension to an ending like the Red Mother for this one. History repeating itself, like I said. So the Red Mother issue 8 gets 4 stars, and that is number 3. Moving on to number 2, which is Captain Marvel, issue 21. Another solid edition. I really like the Empyre tie-in overall. It's probably my favorite of all the Empyre storylines. And this one, we get to see who the new accuser is. So Captain Marvel didn't really keep the hammer, but she's keeping it in the family because we get to see her sister fits the role. And, Captain Marvel still finishes her job for Empyre and uses the accuser hammer, but then it's her sister that really fits with it. And there's a lot of good tag teams here. We get to see some good dialogue between Spider-Woman and Hazmat, and we get to see Rhodey here as well, and it's just a fun action issue, but with some really good story progression as well, again, with Carol's sister, and even getting to see Carol and her sister interact and talk about their mother. Really well done issue, and a good balanced issue. Again, progressing the plot, good humor, good action, and then a good emotional cap off here. Very interested to see where Captain Marvel is going to go after Empyre now that the event is over, and hopefully we get to see more of her sister, because I think she's definitely one of the best parts. Looking into the description for the next issue, get ready for a brand new arc. There's a new artist there. Lee Garbett returns. Oh, I guess the old artist returns for a story that will take Carol to a very end of her strength. Big action, new characters, old friends. So it doesn't really tell us if the sister will be in it, but it does look like it's an exciting new arc, which I'm very excited for. But yeah, very solid issue. Really loving Captain Marvel. One of my favorite runs of Captain Marvel for sure. So giving that 4 stars, and then it's number 2. Moving on to my pick of the week. Very easy pick of the week for me this week, and that is Marauders issue 12 with Kitty's new finger tattoos. Kill Shaw. So yeah, this was a very good Kitty Pryde issue. I am a very big Kitty Pryde fan, as you guys I'm sure know if you watch this show very often. And with this issue, we get to see, her friends celebrating that she's back. And we get a lot of cool callbacks to her starter David and just some friends that she's met along the way. And obviously her best friends. We get to see Rachel. We get to see Ileana. We get to see Emma and Kitty riding horses together. There's a lot, I would say, subtext between all her previous maybe romantic interests. There's actually even a moment between her and Rachel where Rachel's like, hey, what's up? And then Kitty seems like she wants to tell her something and she doesn't. But really also all this celebration is clouded and I guess hiding really Kitty's true motives, only Emma knows, is that she wants to kill Shaw. And she literally goes to a tattoo shop to get that tatted on her fingers. And she's like, let's kill Shaw. But the big moment of this issue is that finally Kitty Pryde is canonically bisexual. So she does kiss a girl in this one. She kisses the tattoo artist, and I'm really curious to see if we get more of that. The one thing with Kitty Pryde's bisexuality, I feel like sometimes they'll reveal it a little bit and they'll just take it back and it's all queer baiting. So I hope this is not just part of queer baiting. I really hope this is the actual comic that explores Kitty Pryde's bisexuality. Because again, there's so many interesting hints to it here with just looking back at her relationships with Ileana and Rachel and then her new relationship with Emma. And just a lot of signs about her identity and maybe being more comfortable of who she is. She's very much, hey, I lost my life, I'm ready to live a new one and kill Shaw. And I feel like she knows a little bit more of what she wants, and maybe that's why she kisses the tattoo girl. The other side, the other flip of the coin is just this girl missed her date and she's like, here's my gift to you. I'm sorry I did that. I do hope it's the latter and not, the former, the latter. I do hope that it ends up being just because she actually is exploring her bisexuality. But yeah, really interesting issue. Again, I really hope we get to see more of this and really loved it as a Kitty Pryde fan. But let me know in the comments below what were your favorite comics of the week. That was my pick of the week. And yeah, this is Comic Uno. Definitely follow me on Twitter and Facebook. Go check out my comics like Father Like Daughter and They Call Her Dancer. And every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Time is Comic Book Weekly, where we discuss our favorite comics and comic book news. Thanks, guys. Bye.